Michael Myers is the iconic serial killer from the Halloween franchise, and he has been terrorizing us since 1978. So 40 years after the release of the original movie, we thought we would reintroduce to you guys this sadistic killer and reminisce on where he started. How's it going, you guys? I'm your host for this one, Landon Dallitzing, and welcome back to another most amazing top 10 video on here. If you guys haven't already, go check out our top 10 Hindi videos channel right over here. The channel's getting thousands of views and hundreds of subscribers, and apparently you guys love the new host on there. Yeah, that's right, we're reading your guys' comments. Alright, let's take a stab at this list. This is the top 10 scariest Halloween movie moments. Head tilt brings us to number 10. What's more terrifying than a masked, deranged serial killer coming from behind you and choking you to death? Not much. But what makes this scene even more terrifying is Michael Myers' slight head tilt. It's just so creepy.
Come on out.
Poor Bob, he just wanted to go downstairs and grab a couple of beers. He had no idea that instead of guzzling down a cold one, he would be guzzling his own blood. This scene was from the original Halloween movie that was released back in 1978, and it really set the tone for the rest of the franchise. I mean, this death scene also shows us how incredibly strong Michael Myers is, and also how much evil he has coursing through his veins. Jamie's nightmare takes us into number 9 on our list. Let's jump to the 4th installment of the Halloween franchise, because let's admit it, Halloween 3, the season of the witch, it kinda sucked and it should be forgotten about. So anyways, the 4th movie takes place 10 years after the first night he came home, and we are introduced to our new final girl, Jamie, who, as it turns out, is Laurie Strode's daughter. Thankfully, this was only a nightmare, but she's gonna have her fair share of run-ins with her uncle later on in the movie. Running into number 8, we have the farm chase. This scary ass clip can be seen in the Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. After spending 1 year in a coma, Michael was thirsty for blood and desperately wanted to get his hands on a sharp knife. So he returned back to Haddonfield, and he was determined on killing his niece. But before he could do that, a lot of innocent sex-driven teens had to be slayed first. So this brings us to the farm chase. This chase was through a field, and it was the most suspenseful and terrifying parts in this entire movie. And fun fact for you guys, the actress who played Tina was actually almost hit by the car because she tripped on her cape. Luckily, he was able to stop the car in time. It was pretty damn close to a real disaster. A closet jump scare pops onto this list at number 7. Laurie Strode deserves a raise because she got a lot more than she bargained for when she agreed to babysit on Halloween night. When Laurie hasn't heard from her friends in a while, she decided to go through the street to investigate the Wallace house. Unfortunately for her, Michael was there, and he set up some pretty terrifying traps around the house. This was one hell of a night for Laurie. First, she sees her best friend's body stabbed to death on the bed with a tombstone, which is traumatic enough, but then Bob's body comes flying out of the closet, giving everyone a freaking heart attack. Like I said, poor Laurie deserves a raise, or she should retire from babysitting forever. So when Michael meets Tommy, well, this introduction brings us to number 6. You guys already know who Tommy Doyle is, right? Well, he was that kid that Laurie Strode was hired to babysit in the original Halloween movie. Well, in the 4th installment of the franchise, it is 10 years after, and Tommy is being targeted by the indestructible murderer Michael Myers. Okay, whoa, is that a young Paul Rudd? Michael was probably like, oh, it's Ant-Man. And damn, did you guys hear that epic guitar riff? scene gives me serious anxiety, and is it just me, or does Paul Rudd, he never ages. It's almost like Johnny Depp or Leonardo DiCaprio, those guys, they never age. Classic chase scenes rushes into number 5 on our list. A horror movie cannot be complete without having at least one good chase scene, where the victim apparently forgets how to run and then falls while desperately looking back and trying to escape. But no, seriously, this is mandatory when filming a horror movie, and Halloween is no exception to that. Let's take a look at this epic chase scene. If you're familiar with this movie, you'll remember that the neighbors were complete assholes. Laurie was desperately banging on the door and screaming for help, but the neighbors decided to look out the window, close the blinds, and shut the lights off. So she had no choice but to run back to the house where the kids were. The music makes this scene 10 times scarier, and the fact that Michael is calmly walking towards her is just the cherry on the top.
Tommy, please! Tommy, hurry up! Tommy, please!
The laundry chute scene comes spinning into number 4. This scary scene comes from Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, and it is arguably the movie's most iconic scene. The young protagonist in this movie, Jamie Lloyd, squeezed herself into a laundry chute as she attempted to hide from Michael Myers, but she slipped and got trapped at the bottom of the chute.
Please let him get me. Please, God.
Michael makes his way down to the basement and begins stabbing into the chute, with the helpless and vulnerable Jamie inside. This is probably one of the most intense moments in the entire movie, because the victim is a little girl, but her escape, it was pretty smart, because she used Michael's knife blade as a step in order to get herself out of the chute. Jamie makes it onto this list again at number 3. Let's fast forward a little bit to the ending of Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And full disclosure, I'm about to give away a serious spoiler, so you guys might want to cover your eyes and ears for this one. After a deadly shootout with Michael Myers, everything seemed to be going fine. Okay, wait a minute. Is his skin made out of bulletproof materials? Why can't we get rid of this guy? Anyways, everything seems fine until this happens. Apparently after she touched her uncle's hand, his evil found a new host and causes her to violently attack her foster mother. This was a twist that no one saw coming. Okay, so the iconic scene stabs onto this list at number 2. This list is full of scenes from the original cult classic Halloween, because so many other horror movies have used similar tactics in order to scare their audience. And this next scene you're about to see will probably send chills down your spine. If not you guys, it definitely did for me. And especially if you've never seen this movie before. So just before Michael resurrects, Laurie survives a brutal attack in the closet. She used a metal coat hanger as a weapon and temporarily caused Michael to become weakened. But instead of taking that opportunity to decapitate him or run away and call the police, she thought she could take extra time to sit down by the door and recover. But then Michael sits up in the background, and little does she know, her fights with this evil sadistic serial killer is far from over. And finally, in at number 1, we have the opening scene from the original Halloween movie. How could we not have this scene in at number 1? It's iconic. Well, the first 10 minutes of the entire Halloween series just can't be beat. In this clip, you will see the point of view camera from a masked stalker who is inside of a house murdering a couple of teenagers. If that wasn't rough enough, here is the most epic plot twist.
Michael?
As it turns out, the killer is unmasked by his parents, and it's revealed that this brutal murder is actually a 6-year-old child in a clown costume. I mean, whoa, John Carpenter made it pretty clear that Halloween was going to be a typical slasher movie. Well, there you guys have it. You've made it to the end of this video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys all in the next most amazing top 10 video.